And now we're going to take a look at box plots. So the idea behind a box plot is we want a visual representation of the 5-number summary. Or a visual representation of breaking that data up into quarters. Breaking the data into quarters. The way that box plots work, we have a number line on the bottom, just like we had with dot plots. And then somewhere on that number line, we'll have our smallest value, our minimum. Somewhere on that number line, we can find our Q1. Somewhere on that number line, we can find our median. We'll do this with actual numbers in just a moment. Our Q1 and our max. At each of those places, somewhere above the number line, we are going to make a vertical line. The minimum and the maximum, we will draw just a very short vertical line. At Q1, the median, and oops, this should say Q3, sorry about that, and Q3, we'll draw much longer vertical lines. Those vertical lines, or the long lines, are going to form a box. So we'll just put a top and bottom on the box. And then we'll just draw little whiskers out to the minimum and the maximum. So again, each of those vertical lines is telling us our 5 numbers in the 5-number summary. This stretch here is our first quarter, or our first 25%. Then the first segment of the box is our second quarter, or the second 25%. That next segment of the box is our third quarter, or our third 25%. And then that last little whisker is our fourth quarter, or our fourth 25%. Now, again, these quarters are a quarter of the data. So notice that some of them are very wide, some of them are very narrow. That's because in the narrow ones, that means that quarter of the data is all very clumped together. In the wide ones, that quarter of the data is much more spread out. So the box plots don't have to look at all symmetric. They simply give us a feel for where those quarters fall. From here, let's take a look at an example with actual numbers. So we have a study was run on the number of cups of coffee that college students drink each week. The 5-number summary was found to be min equals 0, Q1 equals 5, med equals 9, Q3 equals 15, and max equals 31. I clearly have an error here. That should be Boxplots space summarizing. The data, there we go. So now if we go back to writing, or to the problem. So we want to create a box plot. So our min is 0, our max is 31. That means our number line has to go from at least 0 to something above 30. So let's do 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35. These are showing our number of cups of coffee. And this box plot is showing essentially weekly coffee consumption. By college students. So since we have context, I have given us a title that gives us a reference what this box plot is about, and then specifically what it is that we're counting or how we are counting down at the bottom. Now we are going to draw our 5 vertical lines. So at the minimum and the maximum, we draw a little line. So here at 0, we have a small line. Our maximum was at 31. We will again draw a short vertical line. Q1 was at 5. Our median is at 9. And Q3 is at 15. So we draw our lengthy vertical lines at Q1, our median, and Q3. And now we'll close out our box and draw our 2 whiskers. So this is creating a box plot. It's fairly simple. You just have to remember the min and the max get the short lines, and then the Q1, median, and Q3 get our longer vertical lines. They make up our box. And that's it for making box plots.